Hi everybody, this is Lori with Three Keys Astrology, as well as serving in the capacity of Advanced Intuitive Astrologer for Astrological.com. All of we astrologers at Astrological, have produced for you an astrology marathon, and Lotta does this every year. I'm grateful to be a part of the 2022 version, and as I, with my colleagues, give you a glimpse into the future. The subject I chose this year is dark, tantalizing, enigmatic, and about temptation and seduction. She is Black Moon Lillith. If you've missed the first part of the interview that I did with Lotta, you can go to astrological.com and see that video. For all of my faithful Three Keys astrology subscribers, you'll have to go to astrological.com to see that video. Now, I have, this is a follow-up to the video where I'm going to focus on Aries through, I think I'll go to Cancer. And then I'll do a part two because there's just so much to talk about. So first and foremost, who is Lilith? I told you, there's also a preview of this video on astrological.com. So Lilith is sinister, malevolent. She wants what you have. I liken her to a tornado. She's that empty vortex of wind in the center. And in 2022, she will affect the winds and waters of the world at large. So coastal towns, Venice, Italy, I see a lot of havoc coming to Spain, Portugal, and France. But if you live coastal, anywhere, in any country, on any continent, it's time now to prevent and start to shore up or have plan B to escape high winds and high waters. We started to see a premonition of this last July, and this will continue. On a personal level, the winds and waters of our daily lives are in our communications, and the effect we have on others in our words and in the way we communicate. That consequence always has emotional consequence. Words matter. And when Lilith is involved, she does intend to create harm. So she's sinister, malevolent, she causes frustration, she makes you feel like you're going crazy. She indeed is madness. Lilith is dark. And she is when suspicion overtakes you. She is when temptation overtakes you. She is when you steal, when you commit crime, when you deny someone their value, when you take life, whether it's destroying a family because you were involved in a solicitous affair that destroyed a marriage, or whether it's indeed outright abortion. Lilith kills. Lilith is seduction, betrayal, temptation. It's demoralizing. And in human life, it's poisoning and it's absconding another's life. It's kidnapping. It's human trafficking. It's, those psychologically damaged women who feign pregnancy and then go into hospitals and steal babies. This is a very corrupted Lilith that is actually going to play a very big part of our 2022. So Lilith in 2022 will be in Gemini until April 15. Now I see April and October as being very, very difficult months for the men and women on our planet. Lilith is mysterious, and the reason there's enigma attached to this is because of the lure of it's that feeling, probably, though I'm not firsthand related to people that are addicts. It's that lure and that draw that we can't see because it's always intangible. For us to want to do things that harm ourselves and harm others. So the addict, the alcoholic, the sexaholic, the workaholic, there's cruelty always involved because it's dark, and it's when Lotta and I did our interview together, I brought to life in characterology so many of the archetypes of Lilith that forever will be on our screen. Lilith was discovered in 1720, and as I was explaining when I did the preview for 2022, on your ascendant, that's where the moon was at your conception. And Lilith has a lot to do with pregnancy because her cycle is indeed 10 lunar months, the same thing as conception. And she stays in a sign for 10 lunar months. Now she is currently in Gemini. So if any of your 3 keys are in Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, if you have a stellium in Gemini, come and get a reading. I've offered 2 really cool readings that are, and lots of you are ordering them. They're amazing. Um, you'll get to Zoom with me twice. I'll point out how Lilith is affecting you in our interaction and consultation together. Then I'm going to give you some things to ponder, think about, question yourself on, and you'll come back for the second part in astrology consultation. These readings are singular, so they're for individuals as well as for the person you love. Couples married, lovers in general, fiance to fiance, any 2 lovers. And I'll even go as far as the difficult mother-daughter relationships or father-son relationships. If you're interested in exploring and going into the emotional psyche of your relationship with your parents, it's really important this year. In our modern world, though she was discovered in the 1700s, in our modern world, mothers have to take on the roles of fathers and fathers' mothers. It's so shared and so Geminian. The most signs affected until April and have been since last summer are the bicorporeal signs, although Virgo's involved in this too. Um, so it's Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces. I consider Libra if you're mentally unable to make decisions and if you're tossed around like waves in a very turbulent ocean so that your life gets thrown on the rocks. Lilith in mythology is depicted as the sirens. So men in the Navy and now women in the Navy, those sailors, she lured the men onto the rocks, which shipwrecked them. It's in that beautiful song, Lighter Shade of Pale, we hear the enigma of Lilith. And as I explain, Neptunian, she promises a better tomorrow. She seduces you in fantasy. She lures you with lingerie and perfume in dark bars and strip clubs, underground realms. And she boggles your mind so badly that you can't see clearly, like sailors who get shipwrecked, like lovers who course into uncharted waters and are tempted by the lure and the bait and the wiles of others who say, your life is boring, you've done that, come do this with me, Lilith. It's prostitution, it's gambling, it's anything that goes on behind the back of the people that you love most. Your parents, your children, your lover, your wife, your husband. That's Lilith. And when it hits the angular houses in one's astrology chart, it gets so personal. It's going to be for you this year, Gemini. And it's going to be for you, Cancer. As I said in the video with Lotta, we have to really protect our children because it's going to affect mothers and children. The abortion laws are heated and being laid out in front of the Supreme Court again. Abortion is indeed taking a life, and whenever mankind plays master of the universe, he ties karmic knots for himself that will be fated, that will be in legacy, and that will be very hard to untie in this lifetime. It's against the law, and it's against spiritual laws to take a life, period. Lilith is Cain in the Cain and Abel story. Lilith is Delilah, that Jezebel, that temptress, that seduction, that woman who cut Samson's hair after she learned all of his secrets. Gemini and Cancer, we are going to be really facing our issues that are secret, of clandestine pasts, of any soirees or affairs we've been involved with. It's going to come right down to the most intimate parts of our lives where it's going to affect where we live, with whom, whether or not we remain married or get a divorce, and for whom we make home with. That's really the crux of it. We have to keep in mind But the most important people affected by these adult decisions are our children. Mercury rules Gemini and the moon rules Cancer. This is our home, our homelands, our traditions, our history, our legacy and relationships and family, and how we're going to communicate that and live honorably or destroy everything. Now, if you've done that in the past, there's hope for you to correct this. But the winds and wiles are changing, and you've got the power in Uranus and Taurus, in Jupiter and Pisces, and Pluto ending its last degrees of Capricorn. You've got the power to lay new ground, to solidify and make solid those relationships. Jupiter and Pisces, to be more spiritual, honorable, dutiful, and solemn in your vow to family, to marriage, to keep your life sacred. So, if you are, I want to talk about where Lilith is and who she is. So, we talked about Glenn Close and Fatal Attraction. We talked about Teresa Russell, the Black Widow, like in the most cunning and agenda-driven manipulations. Looked through the obituaries to go find men to prey upon. The Black Widow kills her lover, like the story of Queen Bees. There's not an equal um, relationship whenever Lilith is involved. It's it's got the Geminian complex of distortion and malevolence. It's got secrets. It's got betrayal. It's hiding. It's showing one thing to lover, spouse, parent, child, but living a totally other life. The Geminian complex. The Cancerian complex is distortions and motherhood. It's that helicopter mother, the mother who keeps caring for the children or living them with them or off of them or on them in their adult lives and interfering with their marriage and their ability to go have their own life. And it's that mother-in-law who's always involved or living with or manipulating the children of the working mama. The other character, so fascinating and enigmatic, was the Rebecca De Mornay character in A Hand That Rocks the Cradle. So she usurped the powers of the working mother. And the differences in the white moon and the black moon are the white moon and all Cancerian energy. If any of your three keys, sun, moon, rising sign, are Cancer, whether you're male or female, you were born with a very maternal, loving, compassionate countenance of the exalted in Taurus and ruler moon in Venus and in Taurus, Cancer. Cancer ruler, and then exalted moon in Taurus, and high esteem and ideals about family and marriage in Venus Libra. This is being attacked this year. And moms, I've read for over 6,500 people all over the United States of America and every continent in the world, across seas and oceans, worldwide. And there are a lot of mothers suffering. There are a lot of mothers who've been disrespected, who are disregarded, and who are attacked by brat adult children, by self-indulgent people, by people who put themselves first in Aryan ways, the selfie generation, the Kardashian pop culture brats who are like, stop, you're annoying me, shut up. Sorry, but that's not biblical. That's not honorable, and that will come back and slap you right back in the face. When whole populations mimic and copy Gemini pop culture, we see the destruction of home and family. When schools try to tell your children what your values are, and colleges infiltrate through politics and feminism and Black Lives Matter or any cause, white supremacy, um, patriarchal preference, it doesn't matter which side it's on. That's Geminian. So we come together, Gemini, who's wholesome, who's real, authentic, and integral, isn't divided. They're rational, they're logical, they're realistic, and they're whole. Whenever your sun, moon, and rising sign are in or have conflicts and are in um, compromising positions, whether it's through time and space and transit or born there will be inner conflict. And we astrologers can see when mom and dad weren't getting along, or in laws were interfering, or somebody came along and usurped. Another horrible Black Moon Lilith energy is we saw on the world stage when Jude Law, this actor, engaged to a sweet woman, married to another woman, uprooted and self sabotaged his whole life, Black Moon Lilith ways, by sleeping with a nanny. Um, Arnold Schwarzenegger did the same thing when he was having family with his wife and getting pregnant the nanny. This is so ugly, and this is going to come and be a thing, a big thing this year. So she's in Gemini, splitting our minds, trying to divide us instead of unite us together in neighborhoods, communities, families until April 15th. I don't like April, guys, and I'm worried about October for the winds and waters of the world and lots of destruction. The attack on family has been going on, started in a big way in 2008 with a housing crisis, because families need foundations. Now, go see my talks, the two before about Lilith, because I'm all about the light. I'm a double Taurus. Venus rules me twice. The moon is exalted in my chart. I have a lot of planets in dignity and debility, in dignity, not debility. So I am bright. I am light. I am about honoring the commandments, universal laws, having faith in our Creator. Lilith is the opposite. It's not the moon energy. It's not a loving, caring, nurturing mom that's good to her husband, a good daughter, a good mother, a good mother-in-law. That's the moon in her glory. That's the light of the mother, pregnant, full of baby, full of devotion, dedication, and sacrifice to someone else. That's the moon. We Cancers get that. That's who we were. God made us to be. We're about creation. And the womb of creation saying, all of mankind, there's enough for everybody. You don't have to steal anything from anybody. Come and let me help you. I'm an astrologer. I'll let you see the light that God gave you so you're not devolving and twisting your life up and strangling yourself and other in karmic knots by taking somebody's husband, somebody's lover, somebody's child, somebody's a bride's husband. That's just cruel. That's just Black Moon Lilith. Mark Twain said, I can resist anything but temptation. And in his reference to the moon, he talks about we all have a moon. And in the moon, we all have a dark side. Lilith is a shadow, the part of you that you don't want other people to see. And she, this year, is really affecting the most juicy houses in the astrology wheel, 4, 8, and 12. She's affecting us in communication where we let the media make us fight with our neighbors, our friends, our lovers, our family. She is that bitch with an itch that's not satisfied until she has what's yours. There can be a lot of divisive energy between siblings and fighting over parents' property and land this year. There can be a lot of the most disgusting of familial relationships when Lilith is involved is when sisters sleep with each other's husbands and seduce them and then marry them and have babies so that these children are born into this diabolical Geminian complex. So yeah, don't let anyone fool you. And for those of you that are commenting and understanding and saying, yeah, let's figure her out, let's expel her, let's evict her, let's extinguish her. Heck yeah, I'm all about it. She can't stand it when you find her out. She disappears, she dissolves. Like the sun at noon where there is no shadow, Lilith doesn't do her dirty deeds during the day. She's in a closet at work. She's making that phone call behind your back. She's seducing your husband in another room at a party. She's no good. And we're not going to put up with her. And if that's you, Gemini, if that's you, Cancer, I'll help you get rid of her. You don't need to be involved in double talk and underhanded transactions. You don't have to work in sex trades. You don't have to be involved in pornography. Get clean, get clear. Come up to the light. I'll help you. My great pleasure. One of the good ways to talk about our cup of life, because we're talking about creation and destruction themes. Creation, the light of the moon, a holy mother, according to the whore, the witch, the bitch, the tramp, the vamp, the seductress, the prostitute. And it isn't, like I said, yes, it's literal, but it's also when you sell yourself out and go against your morals, stay with that husband who's a philanderer or who entertains prostitutes and whores because of security. That's the issue that turns from mental of finding that out and then staying for security, Cancerian. So one of the cool things to do is, life is a cup of breath, and it is a cup of the full emotional spectrum of joy, ecstasy, pleasure, security. Now, as I said, our Earth planets this 2022 are giving us the ground to hold our ground, and so that we can't be destabilized and shaken up by the winds and waters of nasty Lilith, overhearing a phone, going through your lover's wallet, going through your lover's phone, that suspicion, that torment. It's torture. And the Bible tells us that jealousy ultimately hurts the bearer of the emotion most. And because this is such a karmic topic and about fate, we're talking about eclipsed energy when you can't quite see. So, as I explained, our eclipses are going to be in Taurus and Scorpio. This is about our sex and our money. It's about what we share with someone else, our shared resources, our most intimate personal lives behind closed doors. Lilith doesn't belong there. Lilith in your bank account is draining it. She's bankrupting you. She's morally bankrupting you. Lilith in your sex life, if it's not sacred, is going to give you disease and destroy marital bonds. Get rid of her. She is no good. And if you have addictions, there's plenty of people on this earth who serve love and light by helping you heal emotional trauma. For Gemini, if you're finding yourself living double lives over and over and over again because we repeat patterns, you can totally stop that this year. Come get your Lilith readings. So we have a solar eclipse in Taurus on April 30th. This really upsets me because I think there's going to be increased attention for abortion, family forcing you to do that when you don't want to. You can't do what's against your heart, and your heart always tells the truth. I swear. Listen to it. Gemini and Lilith will try to F with your mind. Don't let her. Drop down into your heart, put your hand on your heart, breathe into your heart. Breathe in love and say, is this loving or is this destruction? Is this hateful or is this supporting one another, Venus and Taurus? My family saying it's okay, we all make mistakes, but a little baby's going to be born, and I'm going to help you raise her, love her, care for her, give her a future, because she is our legacy. The moon is our ancestry. The moon is the pregnant belly. The moon is that infant child who relies and depends on you, that you nurse, that you care for, that you love unconditionally. With Lilith, there's always a condition. Either you leave her or I leave you, she says to her lover. She says to your husband. She says to your wife. Excavator, get rid of her. She can't stand it when you face her. Her secrets get revealed, so talk about her. Tell on her. And say, you don't scare me, Lilith. You're evil, you're demonic, and I'm not going to put up with you. She doesn't belong in our lives. She is, throw her back to 1720, put her back in the black hole she belongs in. It's really a vortex of energy that'll suck the life out of you, your marriage, your home, your church, your family. She wants that. So think about the cup of life. Is your cup full? Is it filled with life and joy, solidarity, support? Can you relate and smile on all the women and all the men in the world, no matter the stage of their age, from infancy to old age? Are you coming in with comfort, support, love, sustenance, Lilith? And in a cup, we Catholics, that cup in communion is our consecration to God. Lilith hates that. She hates your devotion. She hates your love for God. She hates when you're faithful. She doesn't want any part of that because she's a demonic energy. So, but does your cup hold greed? That's Lilith. Is it a cup of anger? That's Lilith. Is it a cup of inner torment? That's Lilith. Is it, but the moon is a cup of vulnerability. It's a cup of love. It's a cup of comfort, compassion, understanding. Is it a cup of betrayal that you drink every day? Are you trying to usurp the business you work for? Are you trying to take something that doesn't belong to you? The embezzlement that is Black Moon Lilith. She's every crime. This year, she is going to try to infiltrate our homes. She's going to try to infiltrate our families. And we're not going to let her. So, the last thing I'd like to say, um, where is she? Strip clubs, bars, underground societies, clubs. She's in prisons. She's in insane asylums. She's in all 12th house realms of necrotic decidua in the body, of cancer, of what is that? The disease of alcoholism in the liver. She's deep in the body, destroying your physical self. She's deep in your mind, destroying your emotional sanity. She's madness. She's when you think you're going crazy, when you're crazy enough to cut off your bloodlines, when you're crazy enough to ruin a marriage, crazy enough to take a life. Lilith, that's where she is. Let's get rid of her. So, creation, it's easy. Is this creative? Is this loving? Are my interactions supporting somebody, lifting them up? Or am I constantly putting them down, pulling them down, killing them softly, slowly, and behind their backs? Lilith. A lot of you are born in the 80s when the three malefics were in Scorpio. This is very painful to your relationship to your mother. And it's literally can be dead mothers killing your mother with your words, going behind her back. And if you need help, come to me. I'm here. I'm a mother and a grandmother filled with love, meant to be a mother. And I don't want you to have difficult relationships with anyone in your family. I'm here to help you. It's very interesting when you take a look at mother and daughter relationships. And you can email me at tucky@threekeysastrology.com to help you make them solid and to solve any pain, suffering, and hurt, any betrayals, any past difficulty, and prevent this future 2022 to keep your relationships with your home and family solid. Lilith wants you to be uprooted. She wants to separate you from your children. She wants your children not to know their grandparents. She wants you to tie karmic knots that will strangle eventually your very own children when you deny where they came from and who they are. So that's serious. It's serious, and yet the potential for healing is so good. We have Jupiter in Pisces, elevating our spiritual devotion, elevating our connection to God. Uranus and Taurus, we astrologers, will help you see the stars, put you on an escalator back up, away from all that underground secrecy and devastation. So I just want you to know that the last thing I'd like to say is it's personal. It's personal Aries. It's personal Cancer. It's personal Libra. It's personal Capricorn. Come to me and I'll help you. You have to resolve the issues with your parents. This will affect your job and your home life, those four signs. Cancerians are all the mothers and fathers in the world denied, and my heart bleeds for you, with you, in complete understanding. From Africa to Sweden, Finland, Norway, I've written for you, researched for you, helped you dig in to resolve. That Lilith hates it when we make up. We'll make up. Lilith hates it when we stay together, when we're strong. Lilith loves it when we break up, divorce, separate, and deny our own parents. I think it's important that you know the cures. This is about Mercury and it's about the moon. December the 18th, we have a full moon in Gemini and Lilith is going to be there. So choose December 18th for once and for all not to be divided. Not to be divided with your mother, the moon. Not to be divided in the way you mother to your children. Be solid, be strong, be the light. It's important. The nodal axis towards Scorpio is about mothering, fathering, nurturing, and supporting all mankind, all of mankind. So foster care, adoption, abortion. Get rid of those. Um, Complexes and issues involving the taking of life and the supporting of life. It's our duty to step in and help all the little children of the world. Let's let them have the kind of life you didn't get to have. Let's let them stay in the realm of innocence, vulnerability, and imagination because they're supported. They can have happy lives. They don't need to be involved in DARE programs when they're in kindergarten. They don't need to be involved in adult issues if you and your spouse aren't getting along. Let their lives be innocent and sweet and imaginative, filled with love, stories about God and the saints and the angels. They're still very soulful until they're age 7. Make sure that at age 7, you're making sure your baby, your little sweet child that you're here to guide and protect, still gets to be a little child. Don't force them to be a grown up man or a grown up woman. They're not. Their little brains and minds are still developing. So if you are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, some of the things that happened to you in 2008 are coming to the head in 2022. I want you to face it. The other thing that's really important to know, everyone, is not only when we're having our eclipses, April 30, May 16, October 25, and November 8. Why? Because eclipse energy, when the light of our sun and moon are occluded, this is when Lilith wants to come out and mess with us. This is when she'll cause her most destruction. She is like Pluto in that she's dark and it's an underground theme and it's secrets and it's lies. She is scorpionic. It's sex, money, dirty money, black money, dark sex, sex not sacred, sex outside of the marital bond. And she's Neptunian that you can't quite see, and that an emotional fog hits you when when you have to choose and you're between a rock and a hard place. So eclipse times are important. The other thing that's really important is Lilith being in Gemini. Mars, our actions this year, is going to spend 6 months in Lilith until January 12th. And when Mars goes into Lilith, into the energy of Lilith, in concert with Eris, I see the potential for some serious confrontation on this planet and in personal lives. And I'm here for you. We'll talk about how that affects you personally. So get your Black Moon Lillith readings. And if you're having trouble with your fathers and sons, or it's your husband against your adult son, or some kind of immaturity, my God, that's what astrology is all about. I'm the kind of astrologer that gets into it. And the most juicy topics are the best ones for us to unearth this year. Pluto, Uranus, and Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are all helping us be solid. And this rebuilding of our new worlds can totally excise Lilith. Get out, Lilith. Slam the door on her. She's not welcome. Don't let her rule your life. Hell no. Say hell no. Not today, Satan. Get away from me, you itchy bitch. We are not going to tolerate your gossip, your lies, your rumors, or your crossing the lines with my family, my husband, at my job, on the news. No. So, you guys take care. Come and get those readings. Of course, Gemini, the bicorporeal signs, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, you really gotta say no. It's easy for you to meld into whatever's going on. Don't do that. Watch yourself, especially with alcohol and drugs, because you'll do things you regret, and it could lead to pregnancy, and it could be to major life changes, and it could be to little children that end up without parents, without the two parents God made them and that they deserve to have, that are congruent, wholesome, and got it together. That's what every child deserves. So go help those little adoptees. Go help those little children in foster care. Do rescues when it comes to children this year. And I pray to God, I'm here. I'm about light. So all you bitches with itches, you don't scare me one bit. And any of you that are trying to detract from a home and a family, you don't scare me either. And if your cause has to separate another sex, race, culture, religion, you're acting like the Black Moon Lilith, bitches and witches, demons, vamps, tramps, prostitutes, and whores that want what doesn't belong to you. We're not having it. So excuse my vulgarity, but we're not having it. Just say no to her. So come and get your reading if you want to know where Lilith is. She'll make you undo yourself. She'll make you do things. You'll get denied the promise that's in your birth chart where she is. That's what we're gonna get rid of. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And stay tuned. I'll go one by one through the signs in the second video, because she's affecting our angular houses, our succedent houses, and our cadent houses. So communications right now, big time, all the way through April 30th, and she's still going to be in there messing around because she's in concert with Eris, the goddess of chaos. Please know before I leave you that you do not make decisions when you're tired, in a hurry, in the midst of chaos, being threatened, being condemned, being put down, held down, and oppressed. Just say, I've got to go. If you have friends that are Lilith, that are taking your time up on the phone and you're busy at work and they're dividing you from the money you're trying to earn or time with your family because they always have problems and they're always more important and egotistical about their selfish agendas and all of their problems and blah, 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 blah. Say, sorry, somebody's at the door. Gotta go. Can't talk now. Don't call them back. Those kind of people need to be excised. And it's really easy to see who's selfish. Aries energy, all about themselves, impulsive, putting themselves first. Sagittarius can have that kind of energy, and so can Leo, and being self-involved for various reasons. Sagittarius can be so in charge of his own aims that he leaves his whole family behind in the dust and the dirt with the crumbs of the story of Hansel and Gretel. So Lilith she is in a place in your birth chart. She does have a 10 lunar month cycle, like a 10 lunar month pregnancy. She is coming to destroy, to take away. She is when you're betrayed, especially you moms. I'm sorry for you. It's the most horrible feeling. I don't want you to hide in shame and guilt. Face Lilith, because the truth of the matter is God is the one who gave you life. God trusted you. So anybody in your life who's trying to diminish you, put you down, confuse you, split you from your children, the powers of the angelic realm, the spiritual realm, and God your Father, Mary your mother, are greater than these megalomaniacs and maniacal demonic forces on the planet Earth, and seductresses, and even people in the law that try to split families. You're more powerful than that. And God, one of my clients said the most beautiful thing to me, and as a former single parent, it made me cry. And she said that the gates of paradise open for single parents. We had to be the mother and the father. We often take the brunt of our angry adult children because the other parent's missing, wasn't there, doesn't exist, or they get fantasized or elevated later in life. Just like we do, it's so awful but true. We idealize our loved ones gone or imagine that they were greater than they were. Our works and our daily lives prove. Are you the parent that stayed? Did you provide for your children? So maybe there weren't exotic vacations, and maybe you didn't always do the right thing. But if you are a single parent and you did your best, I salute you. There's so many of us. I at one time employed 5 single parents at my job where I was managing a bar and restaurant. Not a single one of us were getting child support. So if you're an adult children who's condemning your parents and maybe now by the twist of fate are a parent, and then I hope not, but single parent, I'm sure that the lights turned on and you got to see your mother in a different light. But if you're one of those children that are sucked in Black Moon Lillith energy, who have those 3 malefic planets in Scorpio, especially 4th or 10th house, you'll have difficulty with your mom, with your dad, and you'll have difficulty reconciling who you are in this world in a relationship to family that can last a lifetime, and you'll tie tighter karmic knots and destroy the relationships of your children to your family members. I want to help you not do that, because the truth is, until you're mature, adult, a parent, you can't. I remember a theories of personality class I took when I earned my associate's degree, and there's a point that comes when you pass your first Saturn return. But if you're educated and collegiate and academic, you're able, especially in the social sciences, to see objectively the full light of the moon, your parents, differently than you did as this selfish little Aryan infantile, dependent upon, vulnerable, injured child, the neglected child, the abandoned child, the child of divorce, the child whose parents are forever ripping him in half and creating Cancerian and Geminian complexes so that they don't trust the other sex, so that they live in turmoil. We don't want those karmic knots for any of you, and I'm here to help you get rid of them, guys. So this is me, Lori, with 3 Keys Astrology. As I said, my email address is ducky@3keysastrology.com. Yeah, I'll customize readings for you. Yes, I'll meet you on Zoom. I offer hour-long consults, and I have many clients who come back week after week. Let's talk about this. Let's dig the dirt up and get rid of it once and for all. Because at every eclipse, there's a new cycle. New moons are new cycles. Full moons shine the light on what we need to let go of. And this year, we've got a lot of full moons and new moons in anaretic degrees, echoing the paradox of endings and beginnings. And as I said again, stay positive. Stay in the light of the moon and the light of the sun. Lilith hates that. And out and front and bring out and tell, I know what you're up to. You know, you don't fool me. You don't belong in my life anymore. If you're not honest, if you're sneaking around behind anybody's back talking about your friends, because it's going to be big this year in friendships, it's time for you to get rid of those gossips, those cheats, those liars. There's going to be a lot of theft this year. Gemini is a pickpocket. I recently had a new friend come to my house and steal from me a beautiful tablecloth that I have had since 1997, that I bought on the hill of the Acropolis in Greece. And she took a bag full of Walt Disney movies. She's out of my life now. She was a new acquaintance that I gave a chance to. But it doesn't take me long, and it shouldn't take you long when you're an astrologer, an intuitive, a psychic, a clairvoyant, to ferret out the Black Moon Lilliths in your life. I'm all about it. Let's get rid of those bitches, those witches, those vamps, those tramps. We don't need them. Cain killed his brother, Cain and Abel. Romulus and Remus stories, these archetypal stories in mythology and that are biblical, talk to us about the Geminian complex of splitting apart. They want that to happen to you. They want you to be distorted, confused, upset. You don't have to be. The light of the full moon says I'm whole, I'm congruent. I'm Gemini, who's rational, reasonable, logical. I'm not upset. You can't usurp me. You can't have my kids, my husband, my family, my grandmother, my home, my job. You can't. We're better than that. Take care, everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.